Hello everybody, welcome back to another Jollymun Podcast. This is Alfie Carter, and it is 18th of June 2021, 14:42. That's two fours in the centre. That's a pretty good number, man. And it's an overcast day here in London. And all these things, pretty not really remarkable, any of those kind of facts I just gave you. They all would kind of imply that it's going to be a rather sort of another unspecial day in the universe where, sure, some good things happen to some people and some bad things happen to some people. Some people are brutally murdered, and it's an extremely horrific expression of what life can be. And for most of us, it's just another day where we have problems and we think, oh my god, for fuck's sake, I would like to be sleeping right now. And this is the nature of planet Earth. But hey, that doesn't mean I can't save us from this. Yes, it does. It does mean I can't save it, because that would be such a ridiculous thing to think that I could save the planet. But hey, a lot of people think that not only can they save the planet, but they can do it by posting on Instagram, which is rather a lovely, and it's really sweet. It's really cute. That's what it is. But that's okay. Apologies, I just paused. I felt like the whole time there was like some kind of, I don't know what kind of creature, maybe it's a creature we haven't discovered yet, in the back of my throat. You know those those fish that are at the bottom of the ocean and they're like flat and they're like sandy coloured? I felt like there was one like sticking to the top of my mouth. I don't know what it was. It's probably some kind of like snot thing. Anyway, horrible imagery from me there. Nonetheless, I've done back, and I've done a couple gigs, which is a wonderful thing to do. I've done 2 gigs. This is something I've waited 16 months for, and I'm back. And I did my first gig, and it was a gong show, and I absolutely caused. There was not much audio coming from the audience, is one way of phrasing the event. It was a rather silent. Not soliloquy. Oh man, it was just poor. It was poor. I got booed off after 2 minutes, but that's fine, because you gotta. If you saw a water buffalo in the mud and like swimming, you think, oh, that looks really uncomfortable for the water buffalo. But even the water buffalo knows that every now and then you got to get muddy, and that you can bask in the Nepalese or Indian sun most of the time, but there has to be a point where you're submerged in soil. And I was that water buffalo on that evening, which is, I think it was quite exciting, because I spent a lot of time being sort of a bit like a butterfly, so it was quite nice to again be a beast that wallows. Anyway, talking a lot of rubbish here, but nonetheless, I'm having a great time. And yeah, so I am going to be back doing the podcast often, and I'm also going to get rid of, the 2 people that know this, but I think I'm going to get rid of my comedy Instagram page and just do it all on my main page, because that just makes more sense. I've got more followers, people can unfollow, and I still probably have more followers than I do on my comedy page. Also, nobody cares if it's a comedy page as opposed to a standard page. It just doesn't actually have an effect on anything. It literally just, the difference is it has comedy in the title, and people would think, I feel like I've been pushing people away, because people are going to see Alfie Carter's comedy. I sort of know Alfie. He's kind of someone that I know through someone a little bit, and you see him strangely at parties, and he's kind of awkward looking and doesn't really say much. And he's got a comedy page on Instagram. Now that seems delightfully unclickable. So hey, that's my attitude towards that. It's just all going to go on. It makes sense. Anyway, logistical things. Just in the modern world, in the modern times, you have to be up and ready. Just at the breakneck pace of keeping up with social media. It's just a tantalizing affair. It's definitely not suicide inducing, not one bit. It's fun and quirky, and probably going to be with us for the rest of I don't know. I wonder when social media started, right? I don't know if we're going to ever get rid of it, or if that's just it. It's kind of like having, when the first fish or whatever gained a foot and it went on land, and then after that everything had feet. I don't know if social media is just going to be like that, and we're just forever going to have social media now and a feet. Or maybe now we've got social media, we lose the feet because we don't need the feet. We don't need to walk. Why would I need to walk when I can look at where I want to go on my phone, man? Hi, don't be silly. Also, I've now got a warm fan that is situated on my wall, so that then when I watch people mouse biking and cycling down hills in the Mexican sun, there's like a warm gust hits my face, so it feels like I'm there. This is just a reality at the moment. Well, it's not really. People still walk around. That's quite funny. So given that I work at a pub, which is kind of a known thing, I live very locally to my pub too, and people often are in the pub, and then of course they leave the pub because to be able to join the pub, you must also have a life not in the pub, because you can't get to the pub without that. And they walk around, and I see them, and I think, that man likes hophead cask ale. Or that man, last night, this is what I had. I woke up in the morning, pulled my blinds up, I was squinting and my nipples were out. And I see a man walking down the street, and I was thinking, I know that man last night bought a slice of salmon at my pub. And that salmon may still be within him. Or it may be beneath his feet somewhere in a tunnel. But either way, 100% guaranteed that there was a salmon in and amongst his head recently. It's kind of strange. I suppose you kind of just start seeing people and thinking like that, seeing them as just little like balls of desire, and they just walk around and they're like, oh, I'm gonna have a salmon, and then they walk into a pub and salmon, and then they go, I'm gonna go home now, and then they go home, and then the next morning they walk down the street and they're thinking, I like the jumper that I put on today, because that's why I've got it on today. It's kind of a feedback loop. I like it because I wear it, and I wear it because I like it, and it's just a thing. And then they just walk around, and then, you know, once he's had like a reasonable amount of time between him and the salmon that he's eaten, he thinks, I'm gonna have salmon again. And it's like this little clock that goes off. Everyone has a subconscious salmon clock. This is a biological fact. I, for example, haven't had salmon in a long time. Thus, I feel like I'm more likely to see salmon and go, oh, I haven't had salmon in a while. And then I'm going to see the price tag and go, that's why I haven't had salmon in a while. But still, there is a part of me which is aware, based on time, how much salmon I should be. There should be X amount of salmon in proximity to me. I'm just going to pause again. My software's jumping around. Oh, hello. Oh, cool. Wow, that's intelligent. When you press pause on my software, you have to press pause again to resume it, instead of the massive green arrow beside it, which is usually indicative of continuation. This podcast, I feel like I've said so much in this podcast, but it's only 7 minutes. How the hell? I've expanded time. Einstein, have a look at this. But yeah, man, with the gigs, it's really exciting to be back and to bomb and to see people bomb, do badly, and then you know, I won best act of the night on my second gig, and it was like, wow, holy shit, I've never won that before. Like, it was really amazing. But I kind of didn't know what was going on. There's a part of me which I do believe still isn't quite in connection with the fact that I'm back doing stand up. It still can't get its head around it. Or maybe I think that's kind of just how I feel a little bit at the moment anyway, and then you add stand-up in the mix, which is already like a very psychologically like intensive thing. You kind of become even more like, whoa, what the hell? Stuff is going on all around me. Of course, so you come back from your gigs, and it's like that. You know, you still kind of get on the same train, and you sit down, and there's also all kinds of people. And there's a man, and he's got his mask like down under his chin, like kind of like covering top of his neck, under his chin. I suppose he doesn't like his Adam's apple or something. So he's sitting there with a mask like that, and I'm seeing his nose, and it's like a thing where I don't mind seeing a nose normally, but within the last 16 months, noses have become quite a hassle to view. Look, like, I personally am not too worried about the nose, but now this nose has become a symbol of like, careful man, old people, don't go near this guy, he's got his nose out. It's kind of innovative. Like, I don't believe 50 years ago society would ever think noses would be like kind of audacious to express one's nose. But hey, I don't really know, because sure, he had his nose out, but maybe it's out of service. Like, his nose may not work, may have a little plug up there, it doesn't work. Maybe instead, you know, who am I to talk? With his mask on his upper neck, maybe he's got gills. I don't really, you know, I can't express for him what kind of respiratory system he has in place. And that's kind of like, I suppose I sit there and I think, oh dear, you know, this guy's being unreasonable or whatever. But actually, never mind, he is being unreasonable. I take it all back. I mean, just cover your nose and then make everyone feel comfortable. Imagine it was that easy. You know, like before, if you were on a train and you wanted to make people feel comfortable, it'd be so difficult because there'd be so many like different things going on the train. You'd be like, oh, maybe that guy needs a toilet. I haven't got a portaloo in my back pocket. This man's problems are out of my control. But when you just see people like, now you can just put a mask on and they you know that you've made people feel a bit more relaxed. And it's quite an amazing thing in a way, how adversity can breed ease of, I don't know, I suppose adversity is maybe not the right word, because I don't want to say that like all it's not like a globe, that's not a rule that all adversity works like that, is it? Anyway, why is my mic saying so low? Sorry, I'm just getting back to my podcast. I realise I haven't done this in a while, and I don't know if my settings are all wrong. But anyway, it sounds like it seems like I'm not making much noise according to the software. But I feel like I am. I feel like I'm making quite a bit of noise. Oh. This podcast has actually been so much fun. I really liked it. Hopefully it's enjoyable to listen to. And there's all sorts of projects that I'm trying to plan on. I'm going to try and get on a load of other people's podcasts too, because that seems like a really just getting to know people on the circuit. How cool is that? Hey man, you like to try and make people laugh as well. Woo. Maybe you're a lot better than I am. Maybe you're so far better than I am, but I still find that there's some kindred spirit between us. Probably not, because you're good. Like, I suppose the man who looks at a paintbrush, he's not really akin to Dali, but there's something there. That's actually what I did. I went to see a Tate Modern expedition, and I always say expedition. It's exhibition. I only learnt that there was two words there about 2 years ago. I realised that they're not the same thing. But I kind of like saying the wrong one. It's quite funny, I think. Oh, you went to a photography expedition inside a building in one room? You went around the place doing your expedition. And Dali, like this surrealistic stuff, it's something I've kind of delved into a lot over the last year. I don't know if it's because my environment seemed a bit more crazy, or it's just my sort of personality traits reacting to a more strange environment causes a joy of surrealism and creating and experiencing surrealism. It would make sense, really, like the sort of satirical or slightly comedic way certain people would view the world would be exacerbated in a more comedic environment. Anyway, boring. But hey, he is cool as fuck. His brain must be so flexible. This is the way I think about people who are really clever and good at things. It's like your brain is so flexible. How can you imagine like a spoon going into a human arm, and like imagine it's like ice cream and it's just like kind of wedged in there? Like the human arm is like ice cream. It's such a concept which is not really that complex. The idea that the human form, like you can have something that looks like a human form, but its characteristics could be of a different material. But then you see it on paper and it's like, what? That looks so peculiar. Like it's actually, my eyebrows are like off the top of my head. What's going on here? I'm looking at my own arms thinking, damn, I hope no one has like a blunt spoon around here, because that would go right through my arm. I can't remember what it's called, the picture. It's got ants in it, and there's like two people, something like the feast. Oh, I don't know, they're eating, and there's a pear on someone's like back. What is going on? And the pear's melting. Like it's really peculiar, but I just really like it. It's really funky to my brain. Anyway, people, that was a lovely, lovely podcast. I very much enjoyed spending my time here with you, and hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Alfie Carter here, podcast number like 43 maybe, 40, Lord above knows. Goodbye.